Dickweed.
Perfect timing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is with great pleasure, as the general authorities will say in the coming week.
That's right.
They say pleasure. You ever notice that?
I have noticed that.
They say pleasure. They say measure. They say the A instead of the E. What's up with that?
Utah, am I right?
Hey, welcome to Mission Stories. My name is Troy. I'm here with Lyndon.
Hey,
Lyndon Naglag.
Lyndon the Don.
Did you ever think about how your name sort of sounds like an Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings?
No.
La Nagla. You ever think about that?
You know, that is true. The nag sound is definitely like something in Elvish or the Black Tongue.
Yeah, it totally
Mordor.
is. Yeah.
It's like a vowel sound or something.
Yeah. Do you ever, so how much time have you spent sort of looking into that kind of stuff?
Tolkien stuff?
Yeah.
You know, I actually, the Silmarillion.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the books I bought before I quit Indigo.
You quit Indigo.
Yeah.
You were getting silly with the Silmarillion, and then you quit Indigo. You quit Indigo.
Quindigo.
What an episode so far.
So no one asked me about books ever again.
Do you want to just light them up right now? Do you just want to go on a rant?
No, I mean, I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was you.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was like, I told them my story
Yep.
about why I quit Indigo, and they're like, I really hope Amazon wipes them out for good.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's not be too hasty. It's a very cozy store. It's a very nice place to visit.
So you have some warm feelings still, even though you were wrongfully forced to quit.
Well, I know what you're doing.
What?
I was not forced to quit.
Oh, okay. You wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Listen, it was time. Was it?
Yeah. Every flower outgrows its pot.
Every flower grows its bloom.
Every flower brings
its spring.
In the spring. And it must be repotted.
And that is that famous old saying that we could repeat again if we wanted to. In fact, let's go ahead and do that.
Let's not.
Okay.
Everyone knows it's a very popular phrase. As they're always saying about the flowers in the spring.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man, it's been a while since we've done this. Since we put it on an episode.
I feel like a noob.
I honestly feel like a young calf. What are those called? Calves. Okay. A young calves. It's getting its spring legs again.
You know, they were born this spring around March.
Yeah, they were just been born, and that's like us now. Again, we've been, I don't know if you could call us reborn, but.
Born again.
Born again. Yes. This is now the Baptist Evangelical podcast. Let us know what you think about the Trinity. We're all for it.
Yeah.
Pro-Trin. No, we're still a Mormon podcast. I mean, a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Well, I got really triggered there.
I have a list of words. Is there a unicorn in the studio? There's a list of words I have here. I'm waiting to trigger you with. One of them was indigo. We've triggered you with that.
Yeah.
And now the word Mormon, the M word, as we will call it, the word which must not be named.
Yeah.
Conference is coming up. Well, we haven't even finished talking about how we haven't done this for a while. I think we could milk at least 5 more minutes out of that.
Yeah, what gives?
What do you think?
What's up with that?
Why haven't we? Do you think is it me or is it you? Be honest.
I think it's probably 80% you,
okay,
20% me.
You'd be more you if I was like,
or 70% you, 30% me.
So if I was
email us in, tell us what percentage of this is Troy's fault.
Yeah, how much is me? How much is Lyndon?
How much is nature? How much is nurture?
How much is That's all I have. Dang it.
How much do the stars control our fates? Is free will an illusion?
Is astrology real?
Yes. It's a real thing.
Should the podcast just be questions, us asking questions back and forth? Do you ever play the question game?
Yeah, that was one of my mission trainings.
Yeah.
Mission stories, right?
Yeah. Remember on our missions?
Yeah.
I was on Instagram and I saw this podcast, and it was like a Mormon one, and they were talking about the doggone dirtiest things, and it was a Mormon podcast.
Well, what was it called?
I forget.
Because if it was a Latter-day Saint podcast, it'd be very nice. You know, I did actually get some criticism from our latest episode.
Oh, no.
Someone said, "This is hardly even churchy."
Who said that? Name them. Was it your mother?
No.
Your sweet.
It was someone's
sweet
mother.
So it was a mother.
It was a mother.
I mean, someone's I'm winking's mother.
I'm winking back with the opposite eye.
Does she listen to every episode?
I think she is pretty true and faithful.
Like, does she understand what this is?
We've had this discussion. She very much believes in the title of it.
Okay.
Mission Stories podcast should be about mission stories exclusively.
No.
I
mean, I guess
we're like, it's not a title, it's a brand.
Yeah, it's more of a brand at this point. Because I'll be honest, I'm chalk out, plumb out. So,
yeah,
and so
we got to go back out on missions.
Yeah, we got to serve our second missions, or at least plumb someone else's brain. We were supposed to have a guest.
Yeah,
2 guests. I was a little hazy about that. I wasn't sure.
You know,
but because then you got to do the mic
sharing.
Well,
and the guest,
okay, careful.
We are a little rusty here.
We're a little rusty.
Our guest was like, "Can I just talk about whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah." That's kind of our thing.
We'd prefer it.
I don't have mission stories. I was like, neither do we.
Wait, did she serve a mission?
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought she did.
There's only one way to find out. Get her on the podcast.
Get her on the podcast. And you'll find out who that is another time. A friend of ours. I'm sure you'll like her. And her boyfriend.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Was that not... Is that done now? We're not, that's not a thing.
Well, I don't know if he was going to record.
Oh, he was...
Troy's real hazy on the details.
He was just going to monitor.
Well, I don't know.
He was going to sit in the corner with a lit cigarette and watch us do our work.
Critiquing us
silently. There was this other podcast. It was real. The subject matter was just explicit.
Rude.
Yeah.
Rude and lewd.
And I just thought, hey. But I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Are you going to name name? Because
to be honest,
I listened very briefly to a podcast called Mormon and the Meth Head.
I remember you talking about this.
And I was like, okay, we'll give it a listen. Mm-hmm. Became very obnoxious very quickly.
Yeah. You know, I think there's something to be said for content versus presentation. Do you know what I'm saying?
Please elaborate.
I think that you and I, and we haven't talked about this much lately because we haven't done one of these lately, but I think that there is something to be said for how you say something versus what you're saying.
Okay.
Because what you're saying almost comes secondary sometimes to how you're saying it. And I think we are... Now, very few people know this, but I think we're like best in the biz. Rhythm, punctuation,
timing.
And did I say rhythm? I did.
Rhythm and blues.
Blues. And we are sad men, and that's why we're doing this. Anyway, so back to... My point is, I don't know. I just realized, like, I always thought we were a little edgy, but then I was, like, listening to this other thing they're talking about. And I don't even want to give context, but soaking? And they're talking about all that Provo stuff.
That dirty, dirty Provo stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think anyone who's listening to this knows immediately. When I say Provo stuff, It's like, okay, the kind of things a Provo All-Star is doing on the regs.
Yeah.
But that's just bad.
See, that's a Mormon culture podcast.
Yes.
Like our version of edginess is when we're not very churchy.
No, and what we're doing is, what do you think that person didn't like about that episode? Did they say specifically what was the least churchy part of it? It's because we didn't delve into the spiritual. Like we never plucked heartstrings, I don't think.
No.
We plucked brain strings.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about SWAT teams in that episode.
Yeah, that was a cool ep.
Yeah, I don't know.
What? You don't think
I was told dead bodies were seen. Didn't get delivered.
You know, you're right. He kind of just used us.
Yeah.
To get follows on his Twitch stream.
On Instagram and Twitch.
Yeah. Have you been following his... We're talking about our previous guest, Ben Smith.
That's right.
And he's a Twitch streamer, which is video games for the layman.
Yeah. Would he be upset if we told everyone?
I don't know. It's a good question.
We're just outing him. It's like, he would never have said this on the podcast. No. He would not want this on mic, but he made the mistake of telling us.
And just being out there. You know what, though? He's freaking good at video games.
Go hit him up. Ask him how to watch him on Twitch.
Yeah, we won't actually promote it, but we'll tell him to promote himself.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll do. Lyndon, there's something coming up very soon, 1 week from today. Not today, but wait, what's Monday? In a week from today, we'll be in the glow of the aftermath of 2 wonderful days of conference.
Is it 2? Is it technically 3? They got rid of that third day, didn't they?
The third day.
That secret week before conference.
Right.
That's long gone.
That would have already happened if it were still happening. Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? Like as long as time immemorial, they've been doing priesthood Saturday evening. Now they switch it off. Priesthood and then one for the ladies. Do you know which time it is? Is it lady time or is it man time?
You know what? It's 2019. It's just children of God time.
You're like, you know what? I don't appreciate this on-the-spot questioning my memory of last General Conference.
I'm pretty sure we had priesthood session last General Conference.
Does it mean...
Springtime is for the ladies.
Spring is for the ladies.
Autumn is for the gentlemen.
Autumn's for the gents.
Spring is like the hopeful General Conference because it's like we just come out of winter. Spring has sprung.
Yes.
Easter season.
Easter.
Resurrection. Repentance. Resurgence.
I've always liked the Spring General Conference better.
So they give that to the ladies.
Yeah.
Autumn, it's like summer fun.
Winter's
gone.
Winter's coming.
Winter is coming. Men, you've come up short.
Men will fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
The age of men has fallen and will continue to fall. And man is fallen.
Heed these warnings.
Heed the warning.
Or you'll come out of winter emaciated.
And emancipated.
And emancipated.
By the spring
General
Conference.
The priesthood numbers will dwindle, be decimated. 1 in 10 brethren will be lost in the winter.
And there's a lot of...
To faithlessness or starvation, who's to say?
And maybe both. Maybe one is the same.
Everything temporal is spiritual.
And everything temporal is spiritual. That's right.
So that's why October General Conference is for the boys.
The boys. The boys in the chapels. You can watch it all online, though. Here's what I was thinking, and we talked about this. This isn't a surprise to you, but to the listener, perhaps it is. Predictions. We want to make predictions. I want you listening here today to think of us as your bookie as we plot out what the predictions are going to be for General Conference and what is going to happen. what are the odds it's going to happen? That's where you come in, Lyndon. You're a statistician, I believe.
By trade.
By trade.
By certification.
By certification. And I'm here just to have fun.
Just to have a good time.
Yeah, that's my role. Okay, so first of all,
should we get to the hot rumor?
What's the hot room?
Oh, have you heard about?
No, I think I
no
have.
one's been able. No one's been able to produce physical evidence of it, but they're saying that sister missionaries, when they get their mission call, doesn't say how long they're going to serve. It says wait until general conference.
Pew, pew, pew. What do you? Ooh, that was a good harmony. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I have an aunt who lives in Utah. And I think and I don't know if maybe they already did this with the old folk missions. Is that a derogatory way to say that?
We'll find out.
Okay.
We'll see what happens with the fallout.
Yeah. I'm sure whoever's mad will make their thoughts known to us. Please do. Email us at themissionsstoriespodcast@gmail.com. So I don't know about that rumor. Yeah, on our scale of likely to be real, I'd say very likely because as I was saying, my aunt who lives in Utah, I think I heard something from my mom that they had heard this about old folks missions is that they don't have an end date.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Which makes sense.
There's like no rules for senior missionaries. So it's like, why are we trying to constrain them to a time? Like people are like, hey, we'll be the vehicle coordinator for this mission for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
Till we die.
Why not?
If that's what the Lord wants.
If they want to spend their retirement coordinating vehicles, I say let them do it. Who am I to stop them?
Why put a term limit on that?
Why? Yeah, this isn't the United States presidency. There's no 4-year
Far from it.
term. It's the least like that.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, and if they last 5 months and they're just like, yeah, we're going back to go hang out with our grandkids.
Yeah.
We're just like, good call.
Do it. Yeah. And you know what? Take them to Olive Garden because when you're there, you're family.
Is that their slogan?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought maybe you were giving Olive Garden a new slogan.
No.
And when you see your grandkids, take them to Dollar Shave Club.
Because when you're dollar shaving, you're family. Yeah, Dollar Shave Club.
Please endorse us.
Please.
Or we endorse them. Actually, I'd like them to endorse us.
Yeah. Could they please
Get their marketing department on the line.
A commercial for our podcast.
I want them to like pull their shaver out and to have my face embossed on it.
Yeah. And have it say, The Boss.
And a hyperlink.
Yeah.
To our podcast.
On the razor.
And it'll have a little chip in there so they can listen to the podcast while they shave.
Wow. This is great stuff. How is nobody just knocking down our doors asking for this?
They got to listen to this first.
People don't know what they want till you tell them.
So anyway, sister missionaries.
Speaking of which, sister missionaries are
so do you think
the future?
Do you think they're going to go what they've done with senior missionaries and say, hey, sisters, no term limit.
Mm-hmm.
So if suddenly they get enough letters from eligible bachelors,
yeah.
Well, that's always been a rule.
That's always been the rule.
They've always said, hey, if you want to leave your mission to go get married,
go do it.
110% permission.
Because when you leave your mission, it's for a family.
Thanks, Olive Garden.
It's for a little spin on the garden. Okay. The garden.
So you think they're going to say, listen, sisters, you've been lagging behind. We're all about equality. You're going to 2-year terms.
Oh, that would be cool if they did. It would be cool if they upped it to 2 years. Here's my guess, though. I wonder.
Well, I mean, they've always been like, when a sister is on her mission, that's a poor, sad, lonely RM at home, not marrying her.
Yeah. It's a man at home who's not getting what he is entitled to, which is a marriage to a woman. As
he has already earned being a member of this church.
Being born a man.
Being born a man in this church.
In this church.
Having faithfully served a mission.
Yes.
the church is obligated to provide him a wife.
And this wife to be is out serving God? I don't think so. Why don't you come home and serve your man?
Okay, so maybe
so
not.
That's probably not what they're gonna say.
No. It sounded real good when we said it.
That's
made a whole lot of sense when we said it.
The optics of that, I think, are going to be obviously good.
So see, 2 years for equality. I know in the 80s, they briefly let elders serve 18-month missions.
Yeah, that was my dad served a 23-month mission or something for that very reason, because it changed right as he was about to end his mission. So they're like, do you want to stay? Or he's like, nah, I'm going to go. So he served like 23 months. Well, that's what he tells me anyway. I don't know the real
Didn't
story.
quite make it to 2 years.
No. Sorry,
they're
Pops.
They're like, you're already like 5 months overdue.
Yeah. You're done. You're overcooked.
Yeah. See, my young men's president, he got called to an 18-month mission, and then they switched it back in the middle of his mission. And they're like, you have the option to extend. He's like, the prophet Spencer W. Kimball called me to 18 months, so I'm going to serve 18 months.
Yeah, what do you expect me to disobey the prophet?
Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbids. Yeah, that's okay. So I think what they're going to do, though.
Or do you think they're going to give him options?
I think they're going to just say no term limit. Because here's my guess.
Like, you can serve 18 to 24 months, whatever works best for you.
I bet it's just nothing. I bet it's no rules. I bet it's
that kind of makes sense, because it's like, we're going to send you out whenever it's convenient.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you need to start school in September. We're going to send a Schwackia home in August.
Because you know what they've been doing is I feel like they've just, does it feel like there's more missionaries that come home halfway through now than there used to be? Like, is that just a law of large numbers?
Well, yeah,
thing?
I don't know if there's proportionately more, but there's going to be a higher number.
Because maybe what they want to do is just be like, you know what? Let's just get rid of this whole like dishonorable discharge thing.
And just have like you gave it a great shot.
Where it's like, maybe we're getting rid of 2 years entirely. Where it's like,
go out for as long as you want.
You go out for as long as you want. Maybe 3 years, 4 years. There's got to be a max. I'm gonna say 2 years.
They're probably gonna be like, let's see how long it takes for an elder to truly burn out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They got like some 26-year-old AP, and they're like, "You ready? You're like ready to go home, finish that education, start a family."
Nah.
He's like, nah. It's like, I'm doing great out here.
Things are going really well, President. You know,
well, it's like my mission president. He talked about the widget factory.
Yeah.
How it's like.
What did he say about that?
Well, he said if you're a manager of a widget factory and there's a guy out there making widgets and he's not very good, you don't fire him. Maybe you move him into accounts receivable.
Yes.
Because it's like, that's good management.
Yeah.
You put them where they're the strongest.
Yes.
He said, unfortunately, in a mission, we all making widgets.
We all make widgets.
Doesn't matter if you're good at making widgets. We're all making widgets here. So it's like, there's no risk. But now maybe it's like, hey, buddy, you're not very good at this.
No.
So maybe 4 months was all you needed.
Yeah.
Go home. We don't need you. You're not helping.
You're not helpful. God doesn't need or want you here.
You're hindering the work, champ.
You're helping by going home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, your mission is complete, soldier.
You're what was in World War II when they were like got washed out or something? What was that called? A1 is like you're ready to serve or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm not familiar.
All right.
Yeah. So
well, if you know what I'm talking about, send the answer to us.
Because we have seen the numbers. We've reached like market saturation for missionaries.
Yeah.
So like the diminishing marginal returns on productivity.
Do you think that's true? Do you think we've reached like the high watermark of like in terms of numbers of missionaries?
Well, I've done like the surge analysis, right? Where they went up to like 70,000 missionaries.
Oh.
And
I thought it was like 80 at one point.
Might have been. I think it got close to 80. I don't think it ever got. Okay. Well, there was They got to like 80,000 missionaries before they raised the bar. And so that was a fun example of raising the bar, and they like went from like 80,000 missionaries to like 40,000. They like halved it, but then like productivity went up.
Do you think they'll do that again? Like, I wonder if they'll be like, just kidding. Things were better before. Let's go back to ladies have to be 21 or 20. No. Did they have to be 23?
They had to be 21.
21.
Don't be silly, Troy.
That's when they went home.
Right. Well, I don't know. There were some sisters that went out at 23 or whatever, but
right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think these are all great speculations. Because remember, this was my big point when I talked about this in one of my lessons, where with the surge, there was like a 30% increase in missionaries. So how much increase in baptisms do you think there was?
Probably less than 30. 10% increase.
Oof. No, it was about 2.5%.
Oh.
Which was, and then the year before that, it was like 2.2%. So it's like baptisms very much follows GDP. Like GDP growth and like convert baptism growth, basically the same thing.
Really?
So they found that increasing the number of missionaries by 30% did not proportionally increase the rate of convert baptisms.
Right.
To a certain extent, there's like an infrastructure, saturation, where it's like the missions just weren't ready for that many extra missionaries.
Yeah.
And to a certain point, there's just market saturation. Like we're already getting as many convert baptisms as we can with the current technology we have.
Do you think it's demoralizing for a missionary to, because you don't want to necessarily turn away a missionary who, like if you were to say, all our slots are filled, we don't have room for more missionaries. Frankly, we're just, you know what I mean? Like,
well, honestly, like because if I'm thinking about this the whole point of my like statistical analysis back then was missions are for you.
Yeah.
Because like the church wants everyone going on a mission because it's like that's how you solidify your membership in the church. That's how you educate yourself in the gospel, solidify your testimony, separate the wheat from tares, however you want to say it. It's like you put them on. It's like that rite of passage.
The crap from the good.
For boys and girls.
Yes.
Now, if they're thinking we've reached like we're getting diminishing marginal returns on productivity by having so many missionaries out. What I'm thinking is elders are going to 18 months, sisters are going to a year. So then you have a higher turnover of missionaries. So you're not oversaturating the missions with missionaries, but you're having a higher flow rate of taking like young members of the church and sending them to Latter-day Saint University, Gospel University.
Do you think 1 year is enough time to learn how to be a missionary, or are you doing a sort of a disservice if you were to limit the amount of time people are spending on missions?
Well, that's a good question, because I know a lot of people say like I didn't get good until I was out for 18 months.
Kind of true,
but it's like
I don't know,
really, because you were producing, you were doing the work the whole time, whether you felt 100% confident or not.
That's true. Probably my most productive time was from, let's see, maybe 7 or 8 months till 7 months to like 18 months was like my most productive time. So maybe, I don't know.
I feel that too. So it's one of those things where a lot of missionaries probably, when they look back, they realize their confidence in their abilities is completely unrelated or uncorrelated to their production.
Yeah.
And it probably turns out that their production is highest from 7 months to a year because they're not burned out.
Yeah, probably right. And because, and I think there's something to like the humility of not knowing exactly what you're doing. Maybe that's related to being burnt out, because I do remember like having this conversation with a companion where I was just like, do you feel anything for the people that we talk to? And he's like, no, nothing. I'm numb. I just like go through the motions. I say the words, but inside I'm hollow and empty and dead.
I'm a shell.
I'm a shell of a man. But I mean, not in so many words, but kind of that was the sentiment, right? Like that we don't really, it's like you're so grizzled and hardened that you don't really feel upset anymore that you're being rejected. And maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it's important to feel like sad.
Because you think like the Greenie fire, they talk about like 6 months, you feel everything.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel it all.
So maybe it's like feel everything for the first 6 months. For the next 6 months, as you start to lose
some
feeling,
of it,
then it's time to go home and continue with your life.
Yeah.
And you don't like, and now that they're, you know, making Skype and FaceTime calls every week,
yeah.
You never lose your connection to home now.
Gosh,
so I feel like that also, you can make an argument that either helps people stay out longer, or it helps people stay for the shorter stays. Because it'll be an easy transition back. If sisters stay out a year, they say a year to 18 months. They give sisters that option. They give elders the option 18 months to 2 years.
This is
I don't know. I don't like the ops. See, because then it's like, because then people are going to be real smug.
Why?
About serving 2 years, about choosing to extend.
Listen, you're never gonna avoid that. That's just the way that people are. That's the way people in the church are.
Or maybe not.
It's a hierarchy.
I mean,
there's a good friend, like, Jordan Peterson says.
What does he say?
Hierarchies are everywhere,
whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, and they're necessary. So I don't know what to tell you. I think it's. What were you going to say about these?
Well, I noticed a young gentleman came to our ward fast and testimony meeting, and he bore his testimony about going on his mission for Guatemala for 5 months, coming home. It was the hardest 5 months of his life, and now he's like ward hopping to find a ward that suits him the best. And I was like, did I care that he only served 5 months and then he came home because it was too hard? I didn't care about that. I was just like, look at this guy out here shopping for wards to see which one best suits his personality. Which YSA ward will suit his interests best.
That's what really got your goat.
Yeah, I was like,
you didn't like that.
Well, I mean, we're all guilty of that. I've done that before. But it's like bearing his testimony. It's just like, I don't actually go here, but you're all on trial to see how cool you are, whether I'm going to stay or not.
I only served 5 months. Oh, I don't know. Like, isn't there something about in your heart where like you hear that and you're just like a little part of you is just like, well, what are you so cavalier about? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's all this cockiness coming from? You know what I mean?
Are we still analyzing this young
this
brother?
Particular guy, this guy who's like, he's cocky. He's like, you're on trial. I'm shopping around for wards. Happy to buy. You know, like,
I don't even go here.
By the way, I only served 5 months. But anyway, I'm cool and hip and fun. It's like, whoa. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, especially it's like,
seems
bear
unearned.
your testimony.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, bear your testimony.
Don't go up here and put us all on trial.
Give us your tight 5. Don't do that. Tight 5 minutes comedy, stand-up comedy. Okay. Same page, everybody. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah,
I don't want to shame anybody.
I'm completely with him. I'm like, yeah, I bet serving a mission in Guatemala for 5 months was really hard.
Yeah.
I don't doubt him.
Oh, no. I don't know. I think all missions are pretty tough. Pretty difficult.
You know, and someone on the Twitter was just like, hey, guys, no matter what happens, sending young people out alone to preach the gospel anywhere in the world is still one of the hardest things you can ask them to do. So just remember that. And I was like, nope, missions are soft. Missions have gone soft now.
They've gotten softer, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it's harder in different ways now. I'm not sure. We should ask one of these. We should get a young gun on the podcast one of these days. Talk about some of these. We'll
go find that guy that bore his testimony in our ward.
Go find him.
Bring him on here.
Bring him on.
Crucify him.
Oh, I hope,
Like, I take issue with your attitude towards YSA.
pal,
Buddy.
mijo. I don't know. I just think
Contemporary.
peer,
Associate.
companion. I think that I don't know. Like I don't want to come across as like as being an elitist and saying, but I feel like if you're coming home early, just be a little sad about it maybe, or be kind of like boy, this is sure like a shame, or like, oh, I wish I could have served more or longer.
If you're going to bring it up in public like that,
yeah,
and no one asked you.
And no one asked.
No one asked.
Like,
so if you're going to bring it up, have a little contrition.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so what? You just didn't want to do it, which is fine, I guess, but
could have at least said, yeah, I got malaria.
Or
no,
yeah.
Just it was hard and I came home.
Do you think people have a responsibility to answer a question that people are obviously going to have in their mind about something? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, I remember we had Braden on, and
Yeah.
he talked about coming home early.
Yeah. And we're all like, huh, why?
Well, because, like, he just talked about most people were just happy to see him.
Yeah.
But then some people were like, it hasn't been 2 years.
Yeah, they're doing the math. They're trying to piece it together. And now they've got questions in their mind. Is it his responsibility to, in a subtle sort of way, to be like, yeah, I got kind of sick and, whatever.
Sick of the mission.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Or whatever the excuse is. And I don't want to say excuse. Reason. Whatever the reason is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was our excuse for not serving 3 years?
They
booked plane tickets for us.
Booked plane.
And we didn't fight them hard enough.
No.
We didn't fight them hard enough to stay. So we're the weaklings.
I'm a weak man, and I'm sorry, God. Please forgive me. I don't know. I just...
yeah, I mean...
I don't know.
It's kind of like marketing. I mean, that's what half of what testimony meeting in YSA is, just brand marketing. So it's like getting in front of the issue.
Right, yeah.
So he's just like, I gotta control the narrative.
Yeah.
Before all these pretty girls in the ward start asking me about my mission.
I guess, but I think the best thing to do is just, in his case, maybe just don't bring it up at all.
I would agree.
Don't ask. Don't raise a question nobody's asking. Don't answer a question nobody's asking. Especially when it's like a bad look, maybe. Is it a bad look anymore?
Well, I don't think it's that bad.
Not anymore.
No.
No.
And then the other case, the thing is, it's like, in the case of Braden, he went back to the ward he was in before.
Yeah.
And so even though people were happy to see him, and then they're like, wait, it hasn't been 2 years. This guy's not even in his ward.
Right, yeah.
So no one has any questions.
No one
He's a blank slate.
He's a tabula rasa. Yeah.
So it's like,
I don't know.
No one was wondering, but here we are, and we're all listening.
In this brand new segment called Rating People's Testimonies.
It'll always be 0 out of 10. Did they talk about Jesus, the atonement? No, never.
No, not at all, ever, not once.
Not at YSA, at least.
Gosh, I know. Oh, well. All right, what else about
just
General
kidding.
Conference?
People have good testimonies. We're not just curmudgeons. A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit
curmudgeoning. What else are they going to talk about at General Conference? Do you think there's going to be... Have there been yellers at General Conference recently?
I think they've toned it down.
No. Those guys? Those folk? Protesters?
I don't know what people are... The ordained women is fizzled out for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not in the headlines.
It's not as vocal. They really cut the head off the dragon with that one.
I mean, we let women pray in General Conference.
Once or twice.
Yeah. I don't even know if they do it anymore.
Never again.
When I say we, I mean we, the patriarchy.
Here's a question. Can men pray at the lady conference? I don't think so.
I mean, they speak and preside over it, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, 3 of the 9 speakers are men, so. You know what, though?
Well, I know that was actually the thing that came up last time was that it wasn't like 50-50.
Okay.
It's like most of the speakers at the women's conference were men.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they're just like, I don't care if Dieter F. Uchtdorf has really positive things to say about women. He's not one. Yeah. And how dare he speak for us?
Oh, was there actual backlash like that?
Well, you know, on Twitter.
I haven't kept my ear
Twitter's
to the
not
ground.
the real world.
No, it's not. It's
a fake internet world. For fake internet people.
For fake people. And I haven't kept my ear to the ground on this at all. I don't know if there's any upsetness that happens anymore with this kind of stuff. I don't know if it's good. I don't think it's good for you to try to keep track of it. I mean, it's just trying to track negativity, basically. But
we got to get Theo on.
Yeah.
Theo's all over the Twitter stake.
He's the most empathetic to these sort of groups of people who are misunderstood, maybe, or
what if they talk about Desnat?
Desnat.
They make like really roundabout references to it.
They might. You know, they really might. I saw this article, and I'm pretty sure it was like an Onion-esque thing where it was like President Nelson in a talk says that ghosting is a sin. And this practice should not be done. Oh,
that's probably the Babylon Bee, I think. I think that's like the Latter-day Saint Onion.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It had me for a second. I was like,
he probably does think that.
Yeah, he probably does. He's not going to say it. He's not going to say ghosting. He definitely wouldn't say holy ghosting.
No.
Unless it's like that's what you want to be doing.
Unless he was using it in context.
Yeah. Such as the Holy Ghost be holy ghosting.
He's like, I was holy ghosting, and thus I received revelation.
What is holy ghosting like when you're astral projecting or something?
Yeah.
When the apostles astral project.
Which we know they do.
Which we know that they do. Hey, when are they gonna announce the 2 apostles going to Jerusalem and they're gonna die in the street? And usher in the apocalypse. When's that going to happen?
I don't think that's something they announce at General Conference.
They're like
they just send 2 of them out there in the streets, and they're like, well,
we're waiting. And they'll lie in the street for 2 days. Yeah, they like announce it. And yeah, like, do you think they're all kind of looking at each other like, who's it going to be? Is it going to be one of these young guys? You know?
I think
oldie.
that prophecy is too oddly specific to ever come to fruition.
That is a bad attitude.
You got to change your tude, dude.
You got a bad tude, dude. And, man, we could write a talk. What if they asked us to give a talk in General Conference, the 2 of us up there together at the mic? What would we talk about?
I think 2 apostles would lie dead in the streets of Jerusalem before that ever happened.
Cut to 2 dead apostles lying in the streets of Jerusalem, and then cut to us giving a talk in
There's
General
like,
Conference.
Well, now we're short 2 talks.
Yeah.
We won't let the women do it.
Yeah.
So it's up to Troy and Lyndon.
And they're not going to give separate talks. They're going to give one talk for twice the length. Basically a podcast. I don't know what I would talk about.
Just everything we've been talking about
just
right
this? Here. Yeah, we guess we would just sort of be...
We're just popping off on like surge statistics, and people are like fact checking us live.
Everyone's like, no!
They're like, it wasn't 2.5%, you idiot.
You're a bunch
of 2.65.
Yeah, how many people do you think would leave the auditorium, the conference center? All?
Percentage-wise... 40%.
Which apostle? Which apostle do you think would pick up their soft chair and hit us over the head with it? I'm thinking Christofferson.
I don't know. No.
Well, who's able-bodied is the first question.
Right. Who can smack us with their cane?
Who could do it? I'm thinking Razband. He's like an old quarterback. Gong. He's young. Bednar's in the best shape of any of us. Holland's got old man strength for sure.
100%. Swing his jowls at us.
Yeah, slap us from his chair. He wouldn't even have to stand up. And who else is there? President Uchtdorf. Elder Uchtdorf would make a paper airplane and throw it at us. He had us scratch our corneas.
Precision.
How would the other apostles kill us? President Nelson would rip our hearts out. Who else is there? Who's Mr. Dial H. Oakes and Russell M. Ballard. Russell M. Nelson.
M. Russell Ballard.
M. Russell Ballard. Okay.
Not Russell M.
Anyway, there's a lot of them. And
what's the Brazilian one?
Soren.
This is why it took them so long to bring in like a Latino apostle.
Because their names are hard to say.
Their names are hard for us to say.
For us white folk to say. Grr.
You know, I read an article that said it's systemic racism to not be able to pronounce people's names.
Of a different language?
Yeah.
That we're not used to speaking?
It's like a hate crime.
Okay.
We just committed racist hate speech against an apostle.
We just committed violence against an apostle. Do you think that language is violence?
That's an excellent question. What would Jordan Peterson say?
Probably he'd say no. He'd probably be like, deeds are violence. Deeds can be violent.
But he loves words.
Words.
He's always talking about how the world was created with words. Our consciousness is words.
That's true. No, you're right. It is violence. Words are violence. No, I don't think so. Because like there's a huge difference between something being said to you and something actually happening to you. But having something said to you is having something happen to you.
To your consciousness.
And it can have ill effects.
Look at you, Troy. So woke.
Look at me. I'm woke. I'm all woked up.
Let's see. Okay, this has been highly speculative. Let's get back to the grassroots of General Conference predictions.
Okay.
Tie color.
Red.
This is the one money can be made on.
Okay.
That's like you either went by number on color or percentages. Mm-hmm. You're saying red.
You're gonna go red or blue, or
those are the big ones.
Neutral, sort of like a gray taupe color.
I have seen like a silver one. What's real? There's a name for that kind of tie. The one that does it's like the dark red and then navy stripe. It's like a name. It's like a specific kind of club tie.
Right.
It might even be called like a varsity tie or varsity stripe.
Yeah, we should get
someone who's listening knows the actual answer and they're like, "Oh my gosh."
We should sell Mission Stories brand club ties.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a note to do that. What else happens?
So you're saying red?
I'm thinking, but like, here's the question: like, who's wearing this tie? And are we talking just like who's gonna win?
All the speakers.
Are we just saying like?
Here's what I regret: I have not been tracking. I think Nathan Thompson, bless his soul, has been tracking tie colors for a while now.
Okay.
I have not. I only did it on my mission. Stopped when I got home because I had better things to do.
Like what?
Such as
these are all the colors of all the ties of all the people from 1984 to present. Yeah, I don't know. I think because the question is like, are we talking about like what color is going to win the contest? Like the most people wore red. Is that what we're saying?
Well, yeah.
Or the most people.
You can do like blue? An over under on that, or you could what is it? It's not a parlay. A thing where because you could bet First will be red. Second will be blue.
Yeah.
Third will be yellow.
What's the wackiest tie you've ever seen someone wear?
A general conference?
Yeah.
I feel like it had to be a yellow one. Like it's like too bright, buddy.
Whenever I see a striped tie.
A striped one.
Honestly, I just kind of look at it the whole time. You know what's the most interesting, though, is when they, and I don't know if you're going to pick up what I'm putting down, but I'm going to try. When the guy's standing at the pulpit and the knot of their tie and the microphone line up perfectly, and it looks like the knot of his tie is the microphone.
I can imagine that in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
I can't think of when I've ever been like, oh, look, he's got a mic tie.
Yeah.
They're pretty big on their, well, you know, I shouldn't say that. You can go even further. Another derivative of this bet.
Another layer.
Double Windsors, single Windsors.
Oh.
Dimple, no dimple.
No dimp. Yeah, yeah.
Some of the old school guys are like rocking double Windsors.
Some of them are rocking single Windsors.
Half Windsors.
Half Winds.
It's like, can I even take them seriously with a half Windsor?
I find a lot of the old guys are like it's like they barely tied up their tie, and they're just like they're sitting backstage, pacing back and forth, running over their material, and then it's like, you're up, 5 minutes, you know. That's not how it works. they're all sitting there waiting.
What production are you thinking of?
Sorry, no, I'm thinking of Jehovah's Witness Conference. Never mind.
Easy to mix those up.
JWC. Check it out. You know what, Lyndon? Do you have any other big predictions? Because we have an email that we should probably read.
We should.
From a guest. Former guest.
Former guest.
One of the 3 people who emails us. Andrew Cacao. The subject reads, another 100 years? I'm assuming this is in reference to the length of time it has been since we last did one of these.
Well, yeah. That, and I'm sure we at one point we've been like, Mission Stories podcast, 100 years.
100
Troy
years,
and Lyndon. Lyndon and Troy, 100 years.
Yes, that's what it. Here's what he has to say. I'm glad my last email warmed your cold, dead hearts. I'm glad my email was so motivating that you started putting out weekly episodes again. Thanks. I've been thinking a lot about faux commercials you could do until you get real sponsors. It's for a service called By Proxy that I just made up. They provide people proxies to do churchy stuff for the living. Here it goes. Are you tired of reading your scriptures, saying your prayers, and going to church each week? Have you had enough of family home evening getting in the way of Monday night football? Are you sick and tired of attending terrible ward council meetings? Here at By Proxy, we take the eternal principle used to redeem the dead and apply it in your daily life. All our proxies are certified righteous. All our proxies are certified righteous at our training center in Provo, and we have affordable rates suited to serve every family. Contact us now about our financing options. When you don't have time to complete all the work necessary for your salvation, remember to get it done. By Proxy. It's pretty good.
What a nice piece of satire.
I love that piece of satire. Yeah, if you have a fake ad, send it in. I love that. Certified righteous at our training center in Provo. Yeah, where they're all soaking.
Nasty.
Gross. He continues. You know, in the last episode when Troy got defensive about why he wasn't married yet, that's definitely good inspiration for another sketch. Do you think the LDS Church has turned the traditional family into an idol, and that's why it's hard for people who don't fit into that box to find a place to fit in? I guess by asking the question, you know what my opinion is, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. There, I just gave you 3 mediocre ideas. You don't have a reason not to come
Real
back.
rich coming from the guy who's married with multiple kids.
Yeah.
Posting on Instagram about his happy family vacation.
What a jerk.
Real rich. Who's worshiping at the idol now, Andrew?
Yeah, get off your rammy-umptum and come down with the rest of us to reality down at the Provo Training Center.
Of righteousness.
Of righteousness. You poo head.
Okay.
All right.
Easy.
Should we answer his question? Do you think the LDS Church has turned the traditional family into an idol? What does that even mean?
Well, it means
Like something to worship that we should.
Yeah, like the family is more important than God.
Right.
We worship the family.
Do you think that? Do you have like a line in the sand that you would draw, where, if the prophet was like, kill your firstborn son,
and then we're like, oh well, they did in the Old Testament.
Yeah. Would you do it?
So at General Conference,
Yeah.
it's scheduled, or as he just says, at your convenience, sacrifice. I mean, it'd be very incongruent.
Brand new ordinance. Sacrificing of the firstborn.
No, see, that wouldn't work for me.
Okay. Why not?
Not because I love my hypothetical children.
Okay.
Because we've done away with sacrifice.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's the thing?
And they only have one story, and it was a type and shadow of the Savior's sacrifice.
It's like a metaphor.
So if he comes in, he's like, by the way, turns out every few millennium, we got to redo it.
Yeah.
It's not as infinite as we thought.
Yeah. It's like a lottery system.
It's just like, so we got to restart it. So
who wants to do it?
Build your altars.
Build them up.
And this is the only way we get access to the infinite atonement again. So he's like, it didn't go. It's still there. It's still infinite.
Still in place.
But we've lost connection.
We got to reboot it.
We got to reboot it.
Yeah.
Through the blood of all our firstborns.
That's a lot of people. Yeah, I couldn't go along with that. What about polygamy? This is serious. This is a serious question for you and for all of our listeners. What if the big reveal at this next general conference is that polygamy is coming back?
Well, it never went away.
Never mind. Next question.
All the people up in like North Bountiful or wherever, they're just like, Ella, old news.
Yeah. They're watching on their iPads and stuff because they're so technologically savvy. I don't know. I think
where they're like, not only where they're, because it would just be like, we're not against it anymore.
Right.
You can still keep your membership in the church if you practice polygamy. Or if they're just like, no, it is the preferred way. See, they couldn't do. All they could say is like, listen, those people that practice polygamy, we're not kicking them out of the church.
Yeah.
Because then we'd all be like, what about Jacob chapter whatever?
3.
Not 5. 5 is the allegory.
I'm going to say 3.
Where he's just like, hey, no harlots. He's just like, no mistresses.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to have a wife.
Yeah, one wife.
That's the way it goes.
Isn't it funny how like that's in the Book of Mormon, and then like a year or two later, Joseph Smith's like, you know what? Never mind.
Never mind what that silly prophet said in ancient times.
I'm the new prophet. Listen to me. Let's not get into it. Don't worry your little heads about that. No, but what do you have a line in the sand? Like, what would the thing be? What's the minimum number or the minimum threshold request that would be made, that could be made of you, where you'd be like, either I'm out or I'm done or I'm not going to do that?
Tithing is no longer a tax credit. So, I guess I'm out. Guess I'm done for.
Gosh, what a faithless way to end the episode. We gotta talk about something else.
What kind of question is that?
That's a bad question.
What's gonna be the thing at General Conference that makes you peace out? What do you want? The church loses its tax exemption. They force
Goodbye,
you,
everyone.
they force you into polygamous relationships.
Oh, you know what? That's too funny. I think we should.
All those that aren't married to multiple women will have their temple recommends revoked.
Yeah.
You have 6 months till the next General Conference.
I don't know. I think that's too funny not to kind of end it off there. We're on an hour, and that's our first episode back.
Did we finish Andrew's email?
That was it. Yeah,
that was it. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't really sign off.
Just kind of trailed off.
He trailed off. Yeah. Thanks, Andrew, for calling in. You know what, Lyndon? I say we just try to be more regular. I say we redouble our efforts.
Interesting.
I say we promise everyone,
the
world, and then deliver it.
I bet people have forgotten us.
Totally.
So now we'll double our efforts.
Here's the thing: we still get listens. There's daily listens. We had 4 today. 4.
That's wild.
That is pretty crazy.
I get the updates. People keep liking posts on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are these people?
It's been months. It's been like 2 months since we recorded, I swear.
Not quite.
At least 1 month.
Yeah.
6 weeks, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everyone is as quick to listen as we are to record.
No.
But the true and faithful are still out there.
Yeah, they do. They are, and these have a long shelf life, and they'll be there for you when you want to hear it.
Yeah, long shelf. Nothing we say ever ages poorly.
Nope. I bet even this episode, there's nothing that would just really come back to bite us if someone did some digging.
There's
into
nothing
this.
we said completely out of context.
That could ruin us and our lives and our careers at Indigo. Lyndon, why don't you go ahead and sign us out? Because I'm
all right.
I'm ready to turn some lights on and talk about something. Chat with.
We've talked right through the sunset.
We have, and I want to talk about other things off mic. Anyway.
Email us to ask us what we talk about off mic.
Yeah, that could be our Patreon thing.
Brethren, sisterin, regardless of what gets announced or said at General Conference, just stay true and faithful.
Bye.